What's good, everybody? Welcome to FPL Today Live. We are here to discuss game week 16. Really? Really? Okay. I'm not sure what happened there, so there's probably going to be a bit of me suddenly stopping my intro, but the internet cut out. I think I need another Ethernet cable, which is great news. So we'll start that intro again. Welcome to FPL Today Live. We are here to discuss everything game week 16 and look forward to game week 17. And of course, we are here to try and hopefully get your rank as high as possible in the FPL game. First of all, what is everybody drinking? I am drinking some premium cider. So it's from Aldi still, so it's not premium vintage cider. That's what I'm drinking tonight. Let me know in the chat what you are drinking. Let me know how you did this game week. There is a poll, so you can tell me how you did this game week and we can discuss it all there. I always get really put off when the internet stops. Confuses me. Makes my flow go. So we'll get straight into some FPL chat as we also look into the chat and see who has turned up tonight. So we have a new subscriber first of all, Andre Jakovic or Akovic. Is it Andre Akovic? You know what I'm like with names, so I'm probably butchering that really badly. We've got Alex Summerson, Alan Arjadinovic, Young Fug, Ammon Dillon, James O'Mahony, Murat Ince, The Timpy Soccer. Is it a silent V? Adnan Plays, Gareth Bailey, Kai, Bryce, and McKay McClatchy. Apologies if the music in the background is too loud. I did try and dim it down. Just try and start in the stream with some hype, and then of course the internet goes and ruins that completely. So we will first of all discuss how I did, just so you've got an idea. I am hopefully after this video going to be recording my Team episode as well. So if you don't want to know, I'm not sure what you can do for the next 5 minutes ish. But I got 71 points when the average was 55. So a good game week for me overall. Although if I'd just captained Salah, it could have been so much better. So it's unfortunate that I didn't have faith in Salah against Bournemouth. If I'd actually thought about it a little bit deeper, probably would have captained Salah, which would have got me another 21 points, which would have been nice. However, we did see a rise in rank. We were nearing the 50k mark. We're now up to 27,846. We are on 1,000 points exactly. So 16 game weeks in, we've got to 1,000 points. We are in the FPL Cup. If you didn't know, Game Week 16 was a qualifying weekend for the FPL Cup. So it'd be interesting to see who my opponent is. And we saw green arrows all across the board, which is very nice. So star performers, of course, Mohamed Salah with that hat-trick. Very great performance from him. A lot more clinical than I was expecting from Mohamed Salah, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But we also got returns from Aubameyang with an assist, Felipe Anderson assist and a goal, Richarlison with a goal, Doherty with a goal, doing very well despite Wolves not getting any clean sheets, Alonso getting a clean sheet against Man City. I didn't see that coming. I just got lucky that Alexander-Arnold and Wilson both had to come off. So Alonso came in with his 6 points, Ryan on 3 points, then Bennett, unfortunate, Jimenez subbed on, and Sane subbed off because I think defensively his performance wasn't good enough for Pep in that first half. As we do get Yassine Clouchy, I'm really bad with names, subscribing to the channel. Thank you for joining the flock. So 71 points is very good indeed. It could have been better, of course. Even if I'd captained Anderson, it would have been a little bit better than Aubameyang, who I only doubled up on 5 points. But Aubameyang's fixtures, hopefully, will mean that it was a worthy bringing him in when it's Southampton, Burnley and Brighton next. And he will probably be my captain unless I do bring in Son. Maybe I'd take a risk on Son being captain, and then Aubameyang vice. At the moment I've got Salah as vice. I don't see myself bringing in Kane, which is worrying me a little bit, but that is the way of the world. So let me know your thoughts on that, as we will now discuss your issues in the FPL game and stop discussing mine. First off, we've got Mahrez or Sane. Now, what is a real shame is I've deleted my Mahrez versus Sane comparison from last week, where I looked at them head to head, and I believe if you check my Instagram, there is a post where I do compare their stats. No, it's one of my videos actually. It's a couple of weeks ago I did a transfer my team video where I did compare Mahrez versus Sane. So you can go check that out. My actual thoughts on Mahrez versus Sane right now is, if Man City need to be defensive, I think Sane's probably going to get rested. I think the big issue for City in their game against Chelsea was Kante scored that goal because Sane didn't mark his man. If he had, who knows how that game would have gone. That's why I think Sane got taken off. I think Sane is a very, very good attacking player, provides width that neither Sterling or Mahrez really does on the left. But I think defensively, Sane isn't up to Pep Guardiola's standards. So that could see him being dropped in certain games. I think with Mendy not around, it's not likely for him to be dropped that often. I actually think Mahrez could do incredible in Pep's system if he got a run of games without being benched. But I think Sterling is the safest option, even with the fact that he will get rotated every 6 to 8 odd game weeks. But I think Sane potentially could match him if he gets a long run in the team. I just am worried now that he might get rested for games where they need to be a bit more defensive. So I'd say either is a decent shout. I think Sane above Mahrez, purely because I think he's more likely to play against the smaller teams where the big points may be possible. James O'Mahony saying get rid of Salah, and then I think he's suggesting Kane. I mean, as far as I'm aware, and this is just off of some tweets that didn't actually say he scored, but people are saying Salah's back. So I'm presuming if Liverpool are playing tonight, which I really haven't had time to check properly because I've been so busy trying to get videos ready and this stream ready, Salah may be back. I do have some stats for Salah. And Mohamed Salah, 13 million against Bournemouth, 3 goals from 5 penalty area touches, 4 attempts on goal, 4 from inside the box, 3 on target, 2 big chances and 2 chances created. Now, Salah, we all saw what he did last season when he finally got running. He did have a slow start to the season last year as well, so there's the potential there for Salah to just take off now. However, I have said in tweets, I think, and also if you want to follow me on Twitter, at JNO United, if you want to follow me on Instagram, JNO_United. I believe Bournemouth played to Liverpool's strengths and specifically Salah's strength. Salah is a fast player. Bournemouth played a high line which allowed Salah to run in behind. It allowed Salah to run at space past or behind the player. So I think what you saw against Bournemouth was the perfect opponents for Salah to really turn up. Hence he got his hat-trick from only 4 attempts on goal. Usually Salah has more attempts but doesn't score as many goals. So it could be, and as a Salah owner who is now worried about getting rid of him and will probably keep him, it could be it was a one-off. If it is a one-off, those that brought in Kane or Sterling will be quite happy, because I think Sterling will be a very good pick moving forward for the rest of the season. And then of course Kane has a good run of fixtures right now, as does Eden Hazard. So those without Salah, I'm not 100% sold still yet that you've made the wrong decision, because I know a lot of people were stressing about it, but part of me thinks maybe this is a one-off, and it wouldn't surprise me if this is his one performance where those who are thinking about getting rid of him after Bournemouth will now keep him for another 5 to 6 game weeks when they don't really need him. Because I'll be completely honest, I was thinking of getting rid of him straight after this game week, and now he's going to got a hat-trick. It's going to be very difficult to do that. So we'll see. I personally am not 100% sure Salah will outscore everyone enough to justify his price. So in my head, he needs to outscore Kane by significantly enough to justify his 0.5 million more, and then perhaps potentially Sterling as well. Everyone else I'm not too bothered about because they're in a completely different price bracket, but it's those 2 players. Maybe you can put Hazard and Aguero in that group, but Aguero's not a worry right now. It's those players that I think Salah needs to outperform, and I'm not 100% sold he will do that yet. For me, as far as players to get in, I'm trying to cover Sterling with Son, Sterling with Sane. I'm going to probably try and cover Kane with Son. And then Hazard, I'm still not 100% sold on that Chelsea side. I know they just had a great performance against City, but I want to see how they perform against a smaller side after a few slip-ups before that City game. So, for me, Salah is the Liverpool option right now. There's no one else in that Liverpool side I want over Salah, which is why I'm struggling with getting rid of him or keeping him. But hopefully that's helped with my thoughts on that situation. I do want to also cover something that was in Twitter. Dan U803 asks, is Lucas Torreira worth considering, or is he just a flash in the pan? Now, I think that's a very good question, purely because of Lucas Torreira's price, and hopefully I'm saying that right, is only 5.1 million, which is very, very budget. In an Arsenal team that have a good run of fixtures. In the last 4 games, he's had 349 minutes, so 11 minutes shy of playing all 4. He scored 2 goals and got 1 assist, which is very impressive for a £5.1 million midfielder. That would free up a lot of budget. 6 penalty area touches, you'd kind of want more, but you can get players that just turn up in the box at the right time. He's had 10 attempts on goal, 4 of which have come from inside the box. He's had 4 shots on target in total, 2 big chances in 4 games. That's quite good for a £5.1 million midfielder. An attempt every 34.9 minutes, which again is very impressive. So chances created, he's also created 5 chances, including 1 big chance, a minute per chance created at 70. So if he is locked in that Arsenal side now, and to be honest, I think they play a lot better when they've got him in the side, potentially Lucas Torreira is a very, very good option, as I will get rid of Salah as I'm not longer talking about him. So if you are looking for a budget midfielder, I think a punt on Torreira might be a decent shout. So to Dan Yu, I'd definitely consider it. Asian Games in January. Haven't they just played the Asian Games? Isn't the African Cup of Nations January, which Son wouldn't play in, I believe. With City's injuries, could Gundogan be worth looking at? Let's have a look at City's injuries as a whole. I mean, I've just spoke of Torreira, and I think Torreira is a good shout. Injuries, you've got David Silva, thigh injury, return date 30th of December. De Bruyne, 18th could be his return date. So, I mean, I think Bernardo Silva is likely to play. Potentially, you've got Mahrez, Sane, Sterling. They'll be the 3 leading the line, potentially, unless he's going to play Jesus. So, who have they got that could play kind of those central midfield roles? Bernardo Silva is definitely one. No one. Fernandinho is likely to play. I think Fernandinho is pretty locked on. So I think you may see potential rotation with Gundogan and Bernardo Silva, and then Fernandinho keeping that spot. But I think there's definitely points there for him. But I just think if you're going to go for it, I think Bernardo Silva is the one that's likely to get you more points than Gundogan. Daraj Pandey, JNO, is Hazard a must-have? Already own Salah, Kane and Sane. I mean, if you've got Salah, Kane and Sane, I mean, you could push the budget to get in Hazard, but I think you may be risking Sane there. I wouldn't say that Hazard is a must-have. I think Hazard will definitely have purple patches throughout the season where he will seem like a must-have, but I think it's been shown that he can have quiet periods. I think a lot of us were hoping that under Sarri's system he would be a must-have, and it could still be the case. I personally think with the run of fixtures he will be getting points. It's just, do you think he's going to get more points than Son? Do you think he's going to get more points than Sane? I think Do you think he's going to get more points than Sterling if you're looking at the same price bracket? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself. I think Sterling is going to outperform Hazard season long. Of course, if you're asking for the next 6 game weeks, I just think Man City can beat anyone right now. Man City have 4 very good fixtures. Yes, Chelsea have 6 good fixtures, whereas Man City's is interrupted by Liverpool. But if they both got decent fixtures, I think Sterling's going to outscore Hazard. That is the way I look at it. And Tottenham have 5 good fixtures. So I also think that if Son plays all of them, the way Son is playing right now, he could outperform Hazard. And I quickly want to check. Son isn't injured, is he? No, as far as I'm aware, he's not. Why is Son out in January? Sorry, I'm just looking up the date. Why have they got another one? Didn't they just have one? That's just annoying. Well, look, you've got December. So, the run of fixtures for Spurs, by the time you get to 1st of January, you've got Spurs against Cardiff, which is unfortunate. Then you've got Spurs Man United. Then you've got Spurs Fulham again. So by this point you probably want to change, because Spurs still have decent fixtures in February and January when Son is out. And then I'd suggest waiting on bringing Son back in until he hits that form again after the Asian Games. Why they got another one, I don't know. That's annoyed me slightly. So I think you can still bring in Son. You just have to have an exit strategy. And out of the players that you currently have in that Spurs side, who's going to rise in price the quickest if they all play well? And I think it's Son. I think if you get on the right bandwagon at the right time, I think we've all seen with Aubameyang, who's had an incredible price rise over the last week, you could definitely get a player, get all the price rise, and then get him out at the right time. Would you have Eriksen and Ali? I think I'd go Ali right now. I think Eriksen's still the most expensive. I think Ali has the goal threat. So I think I'd go with Ali right now. Although I do really like Eriksen as a player, I just think Ali is the better option FPL wise. Chicharito is an option, Dylan Gregory. I personally think with Arnautovic out, this is Javier Hernandez, Chicharito's time to shine. So if he's playing up top with Lucas as well, I think playing in a 2-man partnership definitely benefits Chicharito. I'm not sure he's a man to lead the line by himself. I'm not sure also that Arnautovic is the best person for him to lead the line with. I think with Lucas Perez, that could be a very good partnership for Chicharito to really start pushing forward his goals. So I do like Chicharito. He's done really well recently. If we have a look at Chicharito's stats, I thought it'd be a lot easier to find him. There he is. Okay, so we're looking at a player in the last 4 games. It's 9 penalty area touches, 7 attempts on goal, all from inside the box, 4 on target, 6 big chances in total. I mean, the fact that 6 out of 7 of his chances have been big chances is pretty like stand out. Like not many players have that. The fact that he's only scored half of those big chances is a bit of a worry for me, which means a total of 3 goals and then 1 assist. I mean, if he'd scored even 1 more of his big chances, I'd be saying, yeah, you need to get him in, especially with the fixtures the way they are. Chances created, he's created 1 chance, which was a big chance, which got him that assist. At 6.4 million, you can't really complain price-wise. The issue is right now, that is probably the move to make if Wilson is out long term. Is there an update on Wilson? I mean, you could just go to King if you think King can benefit from the form Bournemouth are currently having. Apparently, Lucas Perez has an ankle-foot injury, which means Chicharito could be playing up top by himself, or he could be playing with Carroll, potentially. Carroll did play. When is Arnautovic back? 2nd of January. Oh, I was meant to look at Wilson's injury, wasn't I? Currently being assessed, potential return date is this weekend. So, I don't know, to be fair. I think I would stick with Wilson if he returns. If he doesn't return, Javier Hernandez is someone I would consider to bring in for Wilson. The only issue is then getting Wilson back in. So if he's not out for long, it all depends on your striker free. Right now, I'm quite happy with Jimenez. Wolves fixtures are... where are they? They're actually pretty difficult. They're very up and down. So, Chicharito, Jimenez could be a swap. Of course, I believe you need money to make that swap. 6.1 million, 6.4. It's not a big jump to Chicharito. Also, I suppose it depends if you've already got Felipe Anderson, who I already have. So, I might not necessarily make that move, but I could see how Chicharito is a decent option. Is there anyone else I would consider switching out for Wilson? I've mentioned 2. King has looked good. King scored that really good goal recently, and whilst he's not been as prolific as Wilson, but he had an injury, King has looked good. Chicharito, definitely an option. A bit worried with Lucas Perez out. Again, when Arnautovic comes back, is he going to continue playing up front? So, anyone else that I would consider in that kind of price range? I mean, if you haven't got Raul Jimenez, he would also be one I'd consider. Raul Jimenez is someone with 1 goal. I know he's got some assists, 14 attempts in the last 4 games, 11 from inside the box. Only 4 shots on target, but he's getting a lot of chances. Rondon, I mean, he's scoring, isn't he? I just don't think I can bring myself to actually do it, though. That's the problem. And their fixtures get very difficult after Huddersfield and Fulham. So the boat may have sailed unless you think they're going to do really well against Huddersfield. I think Mitrovic, questions of whether he's back or not under Claudio Ranieri. I would consider Mitrovic. What are the Man United injuries like? Because you've got Rashford. So if we go to injuries and look at Man United, Martial is out. Lukaku is around though. And to be honest, Martial could be back soon. So I probably wouldn't risk going Rashford. Because I think when Martial's playing, I think Rashford kind of takes a back seat. Or at least he has done so far this season. Some people discussing Charlie Austin, 5.5 million under a new manager. Again, I'd wait to see on that one. That's probably about it that I'd consider. Deulofeu, I think, is a midfielder. Troy Deeney can always do well for Watford. But, yeah, just not sure about it. We've got a super chat from Football Skills Norway. NOK 20 pound, 20 NOKs. I believe it's Norwegian currency, I'm assuming. Thank you so much for the super chat. Can we get some hearts in the chat for that super chat from Football Skills Norway? I mean, we can have a look at King's stats, what they suggest. Has played in the last 4, 346 minutes. So we've got a player that has had 18 penalty area touches in the last 4, 7 attempts, 5 from inside the box, only 1 shot on target, which isn't great, to be fair. But attempt every 49.4 minutes. Chance created 2, big chances 1. But without Callum Wilson around, could those numbers look more impressive? Probably, because he'd be the one in the box on the end of like passes from Brooks, Stanislas, Fraser. So it'd be an upturn in form, but it's definitely a potential thing that we could look at. Is it worth to downgrade Alonso and Mitro to bring in Sterling? Alonso is worth his price if Chelsea get continuous clean sheets or if he starts scoring some attacking returns. Otherwise, I really believe if he doesn't start scoring and assisting more, the likes of Robertson, the likes of Trippier when he's back, the likes of potentially Mendy as well, they could match Alonso from this point onwards unless Alonso starts scoring some goals or getting some assists. So downgrading there, definitely a possibility. As far as Mitrovic, what are Fulham's fixtures like? West Ham, Newcastle, Wolves, Huddersfield. Definitely some potential wins there. Depends who you're downgrading from, but Sterling is definitely a player to consider if you can bring him in. Should I keep Lacazette or sell him? The issue is when only one of them was playing, I get the gut feeling that Aubameyang is favoured at the moment. When 2 are playing, they didn't look as good going forward. They look better with 2 creative players behind 1 striker. There's going to be rotation either way between Lacazette and Aubameyang. So I personally prefer Aubameyang over Lacazette. And when they both play, it didn't work in the game I watched against Huddersfield. So I don't like Lacazette right now. I've gone with Aubameyang. Part of me is potentially thinking of moving to Kane now Kane has got that game of rest. So we'll see. I may not bring him in the game week coming up because Aubameyang has a good fixture. But part of me is starting to think that there's the risk that Lacazette could get played if they're playing 1 up front. Aubameyang can get played out on the left as well. Who knows? But I prefer Aubameyang to Lacazette. James Full, score prediction for Wolves versus Bournemouth. Have 5 players in that game. I think it could be a high-scoring game, so I think play the attackers but not the defenders. I also have 5 players in that game. I don't want 5 players in that game, to be fair. What should do about Martial? I potentially think with David Silva out, going Bernardo Silva for Martial because they're similar prices would be a decent move. I'm personally going to wait and see a bit more on Wilson because Wilson has been so good, and I know I've done it before to avoid price drops and such, and it worked with Mendy to an extent, but Wilson's done so well for me. I want to wait and see when he's back. If he's back soon, I think probably I'm going to keep Wilson. Mr. Blue Toffee Man Flynn, I've gone over Aguero a lot. I think you can cover Aguero with 2 Man City midfielders, so I don't think I will be going back to Aguero, personally. As far as captaining Sterling or Orba, Aubameyang, the problem with Aubameyang is the fear of rotation now. But it is against Southampton, which is a great fixture. Everton for Man City, it is at home for Man City, so I think Man City will score goals. And I think Sterling could be involved heavily there as well. My gut says to go with Aubameyang, but my head says go with the player at home and go with Sterling. I know I've just given you 2 answers there, so that doesn't help you out either way. Logically, I'd say Sterling, but I suppose because I have Aubameyang, my heart is saying Aubameyang. Does not having Kane worry you? It does now. It didn't, because I believed that Callum Pearson, yes, JNO, Supreme Leader. I'm not PewDiePie. I'm no Supreme Leader, but thank you. I thought Aubameyang would equal Kane, and I thought if I can get Son in, Son will get similar points to Harry Kane. Now, if we actually look from when you'd consider bringing those two in, I think Son is matching Kane so far. So 51 points and 86, but of course Son had a period where he wasn't playing. I'd say I was considering from Gameweek 15 the two. So you've got 13 points for Kane, and for Son you've got more. You've got 22. So as far as 2 game weeks go, I was right. I just hadn't brought either in yet. I really feel like over this period Son might match Kane. And if we go to like a comparison of the two players, just give me 1 second to find them both. Okay, Son's heat map is actually more advanced. You've got penalty area touches 19 to 13 in Son's favour, 16 attempts to 11 in Son's favour, 10 to 6 goal attempts in the box in Son's favour. You've got shots on target 9 to 7 in Son's favour, big chances 4 to 3 in Son's favour, minutes per attempt 20.1 to 26 in Son's favour, and then as far as chances created, 5 chances created to 2 in Son's favour. So yes, Son might get rested, and that's where Kane could carry up, not carry on points, catch up on points. But I think if they're both given equal game time, which they haven't been yet, Son's got a little bit more, 321 minutes to 286. Son, because of how deep Kane plays, Son may benefit hugely. So I feel like I'm most likely going to take the risk with Heung-min Son. Thoughts on a cheap midfielder below 6 million from Patrick Mayers? We've already sung the praises of Lucas Torreira. But if we just go midfielders. Now I do this because I have got feedback before where they're like, you're just looking at what I could look at. But I do this to bring up names that I can think of, because I don't remember everyone's price range, unfortunately. But we have Patterson right now, 9 points there, 12 points there. As a cheap midfielder, 7-7. That is a good return for a cheap midfielder that you're going to be probably happy to bench every now and again. At 5.3 million, you can't complain about Patterson right now. Yes, I know Kante's up there, but if you look, there's a lot of 2 and 3 points. Recently, a 6 point there for an assist and 9 point there has really boosted his score. But I don't think Kante might still be one of the top, but just that takes up a Chelsea slot. If you're going to go Chelsea, I'm not sure that's really where you need to be looking. Torreira, we've spoken about. Recently, his form has looked very, very good. 6 points, 6 points, 11 points. Brooks, again, ideally you'd want Brooks' fixtures to look better, but I'd say from this period on, Brooks, if he's starting, is great. The problem is rotation with Stanislas. It seems like when they're playing like a 3-4-3 or something where there's a 3-man leading line compared to a 2, Brooks can get dropped sometimes for Stanislas or King and Fraser with Wilson. So Brooks is a worry because of rotation, because you've got minutes played. It seemed, no, it's never been really that consistent, has it? But David Brooks, definitely decent player, not bad at 5.2. Torreira, we've spoken about, 5.1, very, very good option, I think, moving forward. I think that's probably it. Huddersfield have very good fixtures, so if Moy does play, apart from that Man United game, that's a nice run there. And I think that's probably it. Camisara has impressed me in games, 4.6. No real returns for a while though, which is the worry there. But he has impressed me. You could look at Burnley options. I don't think their fixtures get better after game week 19. Snodgrass, of course, 5.3 million. We know they have good fixtures. It looks like he is nailed on in that side. So Snodgrass, if you don't have a West Ham option, could definitely be someone to look at as well. Pereira I like, but he just seems to go missing in games. I did bring him in for a good run of fixtures for Watford, and he had one good game and then 2 bad games. If Son has been taken off now in the Spurs game, in fact, what is the score first of all, then his minutes may be managed and they might be wanting to play him in the Burnley fixture, which would be fantastic. Okay. No, I need Champions League. Here we go. So we've got Liverpool are beating Napoli right now. Spurs are losing to Barca. The fact that Son's got taken off with them losing, I think that's more tactical than it is rest. Dembele scored in 7 minutes. That's not great. I mean, Spurs have had chances. I'm not sure why Son's been taken off then. If they were winning, I'd say maybe Son's minutes are being managed. What were the lineups initially? Mora's come on for Song Min-hyun. That's tactical in my mind. That's for some pace to get in behind, maybe test them. So you had Son, Kane, Ali and Eriksen. I mean, the others look like they might be playing because 2 subs have been used. Lamella's come on for Walker Peters, so they're going attack. I feel like Kane will play. Ali, to me, is the one that's going to get rested. Because Ali played 90 minutes, I believe, just the weekend gone, and now it looks like he's most likely going to play 90 minutes or closer to 90 minutes than Son Heung-min. So I feel like Eriksen might play behind Kane with Son Heung-min and Lucas Moura. We'll see, but that's my way of reading the substitutes in that game. As far as Liverpool-Napoli, Salah's only scored 1, but he has scored. I would be worried about Salah getting rested 2 full games because I don't believe they're going to take Salah off. So it's a difficult one. But, yeah, I do worry that... Well, right now, Spurs apparently go through. I'm not sure how that works. Don't know if that is even correct. And then I've got Liverpool going through right now if they win. But anyway, I think Son potentially could play because he's been taken off. So I think he'll start Saturday. And so does Richard S. Vish has a midfielder: Martial, Richarlison, Hazard, Sane, Felipe. What do you think? I think Felipe is a good choice for the fixtures. West Ham have nothing else to play for, so I think they're alright. Richarlison I also like. I know, like, I went on about how Richarlison isn't a good option, but for this period of fixtures where rotation is a worry, I don't see Richarlison being dropped at Everton. And he's getting 11 attempts on goal in 4 game weeks, 10 from inside the box, 5 on target, 3 big chances. I think Richarlison's a safe pick right now. I don't necessarily think Richarlison being taken out, even if the fixtures are tough, which Man City, Spurs next 2, you know he's going to play. And in a period where rotation is a real worry, unless you can see someone that you're pretty sure is going to play that will score similar points in the fixtures that are easy, because after that they've got Burnley, Brighton, Hove Albion, Leicester and Bournemouth. So you'd literally be transferring him out for 2 fixtures. You could maybe swap him for Anderson, Fulham, Watford, if you don't have Anderson already. Watford, Cardiff, West Ham. If you don't think you need to make a transfer elsewhere, you could go Pereira or Deulofeu. Bournemouth, if you didn't have Fraser, maybe Wolves, Brighton, Hove Albion. But after that, I think if you don't have another move to make, just keep Richarlison. Hazard. My issue is midfielders score more points for goals. I think Sterling, I think Sane, I think Salah. I think that's probably the three that you're really comparing them to are going to score more goals. When Hazard was really on form, I felt like Hazard might beat them points-wise because of goals. But if he's just going to get assists, and to be honest, I've watched him play with Giroud and Morata, I'm not sure he's got the right striker around him. I think bringing the right striker and Hazard could be a must-have. But right now, I just think potentially you've got some midfielders that are cheaper that could score more points, like Sane. Sane, I would wait and see what happens after this Chelsea game, because I think this Chelsea game is a worrying situation for us about what might happen with Sane. If his poor defensive performance means Mahrez gets a good run of fixtures, straight to Mahrez, which kind of goes into Dan's question, but I'll get to Dan in a second. Martial, I still don't like that Man United side, but Martial would be the only one I consider from that side at the moment. Is Mahrez worth considering with Man City's midfield injuries? I really, really, really want some sort of sign that Mahrez is going to be the main man for a period of fixtures, because I think Mahrez in that City side, if you think of how well he played at Leicester, Mahrez in a Man City side playing at that kind of form, and I think potentially he's getting to either the same or a better standard than that Premier League winning season. Mahrez could be absolutely epic. David Silva is out for a while. I would be interested to see how Mahrez would play in the centre, but De Bruyne's potential return is the 18th of December. I think his minutes will be managed. He'll be slowly put back in. Aguero potentially back 15th of December. So that's two big players back, which makes me worry that the injuries aren't as big, and so the rotation will continue. So I am worried about Mahrez, but if I saw any sign that Mahrez could be a major player for Man City for a period of fixtures, I'll be straight on it. Straight on it. Richard S. Sterling, Son and Hennessy for Hazard, De Silva and De Bruyne. I like it. If you're really confident in it, then take the -4. If you feel your team needs that refresh, because I know a lot of times I say don't take a hit unless you have to. I think this kind of period of fixtures, if you're not happy with your side, then take the hit. I took the hit. It didn't really hurt me massively, and then I had quite a good game week. This game week just gone. Upgrade Bennett. If you can upgrade Bennett to Doherty, I would straight away. Steve Wynyard. Billing to a 5.7 or below mid. Torreira, Snodgrass. I think Torreira and Snodgrass could both be good options, and I don't think Billing offers anything more than Torreira or Snodgrass. Rox Menno, Salah and Fraser to Sane and Son. I mean, Sane and Son sounds like a better combination, doesn't it? But I really worry Salah could be about... I'm not... Like I said earlier, I'm not sold that Salah is going to outperform everyone all season long. But now that he's had that hat-trick, I'm worried this is going to be the start of him really performing well. So I can't see myself taking Salah out yet. But Sane and Son just sounds a good combination to me, at least for December. Simon asks, can I look at silver replacements? Has Sterling and Sane already? I wouldn't necessarily triple up, but it can work, but I wouldn't triple up. And best replacements for Mane. So Mane's a bit more expensive. So I'm going to look. I mean, Hazard has good fixtures straight off the bat. So for Mane, you could potentially move up to Hazard. If I get this right budget wise, Silver you were looking about 8.5-ish. Yeah, there he is, 8.7. So I mean, you have players above him points-wise. Anderson has fixtures. 5 good fixtures in a row. So, I mean, I personally have no issue with West Ham's fixtures until Game Week 33, where I think Kane now jump off the bandwagon. So, Anderson would be one for me. I think he's a major player at West Ham right now. Richarlison, again, if you don't have Richarlison, I think he's going to score goals. Like, I would like a game week like this one a bit more often, and this one a bit more often. But the fact of the matter is, if you look over the entire season, he didn't play in 2 games, so he's played 14 game weeks. He's returned in 50% of the game weeks he's played in. If you got him early enough, you've got him at 6.5, that's a bargain. That's an absolute bargain. And then fixture-wise, you've got that run of fixtures there. Again, that's why everyone had Everton players at the beginning. It's because of those fixtures there. So, again, the fixtures after Christmas really turned in Richarlison's favour. So that long-term, Richarlison is probably a good move. Pereira, I do like him sometimes, and then sometimes he seems to go a bit cold for me. But, I mean, that period is just too long without a return. I got rid of him, I believe, around here. But he can get points returns. Martial, I was hoping Martial would go down in price. But if you look after Liverpool, apart from that Spurs game, that's a nice run of fixtures as well. So Martial could be someone to consider. Maddison, I mean, we knocked him, but 8 points and 10 points after that -2. Yes, there was this period of like, come on mate, what are you doing? But Maddison has got points returns to his name. I think that's probably about it that I'd look at in that kind of price bracket. And then if we're looking at Mane, and I believe Mane's gone up to around the 10 million because of his early season form. Where the hell is he? There he is, 9.7. So I think Sane is a good option compared to him. Same kind of price you're looking at. I think that's literally it in the same price bracket. You've got to go higher in price to really get anyone outperforming Mane than Sane. So you've already got Sane. Although I think someone else asked about Mane. So I'd say if you can go to Hazard, but that's quite a big jump in price. So there isn't much better than Mane out there. Vish, try tweeting me your team and I'll see if I can get some sort of response to that team. The Timp Soccer, what I did is I don't go for -8, so I go for a -4 with 2 saved transfers, because then that's 3 transfers, which should give you enough space to really freshen up your side. And then it has to be a case where if you find out one of your players isn't playing, a -4 is a lot easier to take. Anyway, guys, I am going to wrap it up there. Unfortunately, the kids haven't been that nice for the wife today, so I do feel like we should try and wrap this up early enough so she can get the kids to bed, have a bit of a rest. We can get to bed, have a sleep, all that kind of stuff. It'll be me up on early morning duty because I kind of took liberties this morning and slept in. So we will be wrapping up the stream right now, but thank you guys so much for the support. I do have to record the My Team video as well right now, so hopefully that goes all right. I have just drunk a whole glass of cider and I'm not as heavyweight as I used to be. However, thank you guys, of course, so much for being involved in the stream. Please go and follow my Twitter and Instagram. I'm really upping my game on both platforms. Links are in the description. Also, you can become a member of the channel. As soon as you become a member, you get a special badge next to your name. We are working on some perks that you can get for becoming a member. It's $4.99 a month. Would really like to make that part of the channel, a membership of the channel. Thank you so much for Gordon Gilbody, who's been a member for 3 months now, so much appreciated, Gordon. But if you are interested in that, link is in the description. Thank you to all my patrons as well. Of course, that's another way you can support me, and then you can choose the amount you support me with instead of just the $4.99. But I really would like to get like a membership going with some emojis that can be used in the chat, kind of make it a bit more of a personal environment for the streams. So if you are interested, check out the link in the description. Also, Wildcats should be streaming live on Thursday. We are working on a guest, but there's no promises. We haven't got anything confirmed right now, but we are seeing what we can do. But it will probably be the last Wildcat stream before Christmas, just because we are all working on our own stuff as well. So make sure to check out on Thursday the Wildcat stream. I've got to start working on that as well. Just it's such a busy period, this Christmas period. So yeah. But thank you guys so much for the support. Make sure to like, share and subscribe if you haven't already. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.